Okay, so it's 4:44. And I was going to start, it was 4:41 on the 26th, but then I was like, I think I'll go pee first. And so then I came back and it was 4:43. And I was like, I'm just going to wait for 4:44 because I like that time better. So it's 4:44, but I waited a few seconds till it turned to 4:44. On the 26th, which is Tuesday. So today's Tuesday. There's a lot going on, that's for sure. My sickness, which it's funny because my brother, I mean, when you talk to people who don't really have the awareness of the truth behind our environment and the toxicity of it, then they oftentimes just try and relate it to what they know. And so it's got to be allergies. I mean, there's nobody around to make me sick, so it has to be allergies. And he had gotten so sick being here several times, he said, from the allergens and stuff. And, being around all this farmland, like I've said. And then we're kind of in this valley called Treasure Valley, which is really, really pretty. And kind of holds the stuff in place. And then, so the farms, I've talked about this for a long time, but in order for the farms to sell anything to the corporation, they have restrictions. And then they put it through a 3-letter agency and pretend like it's for our best interest. You cannot trust those 3-letter agencies. So then they say, well, you have to put this stuff on there. You have to put this stuff on there. Otherwise, you can't sell your products. And so they force them into complying. And I think even when some made a big ruckus about it or something, then they started saying, okay, well, you got to label it. It's got to say organic if you don't have that. But you have to use this. Because what's come out is even organic isn't pesticide or toxin free, whatever. It still has got a load of something in there. So, but that's the restrictions that the 3-letter agencies put on. So that's why it's so much better to go to a farmer's market, to the small farms that aren't selling to corporations, and buying their produce, because they genuinely aren't putting stuff on it. They're actually tending their garden in a different way. So it's that's why it's better, when you have a farmer's market around, to be able to go get your stuff there. And so anyways, I know that the farms have to comply, and so they are put all sorts of stuff out into the environment, into the air. Even that one documentary talks about the sludge and what they forced them to put into the ground even. And it was growing into the food for a while. So then, so I know that is a truth, that there is a lot of added environmental stuff, but then they're also, making the sky look like it's got a lot of lines in it and stuff. So I still see so many videos. They're just blowing it all the time. And whenever I go outside here, it's always, which is still, the sky out here is so trippy. I'm telling you, it is wild. And I don't know. I mean, this is definitely the most sky I've seen for a long time from anywhere I've lived. And you just don't realize, like, what I'm saying unless you've been outside of everything, outside of cities, away from all of the different places where you just see open sky for long, long ways all around you. And it goes way out. And that was one thing, too, that I talked about years ago when I started realizing, like, they give us this idea that the sky is going up or something, but it goes way out. It goes way out. When you look, it's like, so and I keep seeing there's like multiple, I'm totally on board with this, multiple dimensions and realms colliding in the sky. Like we're coming into, yeah, it's like our skies are coming into union with other realities. So we're going into this space where we join, and then everything is micro macro. It's so trippy. But anyways, so I know that there is definitely that stuff. I'm breathing it, and then I watch them put stuff up there, so I know that I'm breathing that stuff in. And the thing though that gets me on the symptoms, so typically when you get allergies, what happens? You get itchy eyes, you get a runny nose, you may sneeze a lot, you know, and it can build up pressure, give you an earache, depending on how much mucus, you know, you're getting, all the pressure that builds up in your face and stuff. Um, so, yeah, I would imagine, you know, in some cases that you could get a sore throat, which I don't know, that kind of reminds me of the times of war when they used certain stuff, you know, gases and stuff that caused problems in the throat. And so, but I would think, you know, when you're talking to somebody who's got a bunch of allergies to pollen and trees and grass and stuff like that, that they don't necessarily have a sore throat. And then it moves down into your lungs. And then, so some of the things definitely, you know, I would say are typical kind of allergy things, but then there's a different process of how it happened and stuff. And then when you start seeing all these people in all these different states all saying the same thing is happening to them, and then we know how often, I mean, y'all know because we talk about it, but how often that they create sickness and then they get it inside of us. So and there's already some whistleblowers come out talking about how they are not just putting in toxins and chemicals in the lines that they're laying in the sky, but it also includes, you know, bacterial bugs and shit like that, sickness. And so um, so like it can be a variety of things, you know, and how they get it into us. Like I've said before, I think that they even spray it through the vents in stores. I think they sell them some kind of stuff, and then they say you gotta spray this through your vents to keep it clear, so people aren't getting sick from each other. But really, what they're spraying is stuff to make us sick, because we're not getting sick from each other. I mean, how often are you going up and shaking hands with strangers and getting close enough? You have to have an interaction. You have to somehow be getting their sickness on you. Their germs have got to be getting on you. And even they made such a big thing back in 2020, don't forget about the distance, because the germs can't go past a certain distance. So you have to be like right up in someone's face. They have to be practically spitting into your mouth in order for you to get some of these sicknesses. And I learned somewhat about that in nursing too, because there was a difference, like if somebody has an airborne sickness, you know, and then we'd have to wear things and stay our distance and stuff like that. But not all sicknesses are airborne. A lot of things that as soon as it comes out, it's gone, it's dead. And so they don't teach all that. They teach what things they want to use to create fear, because they went all on this, you know, 5 foot and these and all that stuff. But and then they act ignorant too a lot of times. But anyways, it is it's not as easy as they make of how you get sick. A lot of kids, like when you have little kids, they come home and they are sick all the time, and then they get you sick. But they are all hanging on each other. They are all sharing, like, here, have a drink of my drink. Here, can I lick your sucker? You know, they are all, is like, it's much different, you know, as you, and then at work places, then I would say, yeah, you do have a lot more sharing things, you know, like Everybody's using the same creamer. Everybody's using the same coffee pot. The water thing, like, you know, in a lot of places that get irritated by people who even call in sick. So people go in on, you know, they're going to work sick and stuff. And so, you know, I see it all the time. Even that a few weeks back when I was at Home Depot, and that lady was saying, somebody said something about how she was feeling, and she said that she was refusing to get sick. She couldn't miss work. And, but, you know, it was like she was dragging, I guess. I'm not sure. But it wasn't like she walked up next to me and she's coughing and sneezing, snot pouring, her eyes are all red, and she's like, it wasn't anything like that. And, but, you know, I mean, she handed me her bag. I mean, she could have been just like licking her hands and snotting all over them and then touch my bag and then maybe I'd get some stuff. And then, you know, weeks later, but anyways, but normally it's not that easy to get sick from each other. And, there has to be a way, you know, it spreads around. And but, so I find it, you know, unusual when, you know, I have a certain sickness and then I hear all these people talking all over the place that have the same sickness and it followed the same pattern where they started having a sore throat. It felt like there was razor blades in their throat. And then all of a sudden it moved into their sinuses, which for me has been rough because all the pressure in my eyes, in my face, my head, in my ears, across my teeth. It was like, oh my God. And this is on top of me doing black seed oil. And I've been doing it twice a day. So and that dries up mucus. Well, what in the hell, how, you know? And so then it moving down into my lungs, and I listening to all the people. It's like the exact same pattern on everybody. So then that, you know, was curious. But then they have all of these, the sickness that they put out there, and that they are, I don't know, like trying to create a, you know, like how the plague, we've had a few, because the Spanish flu, there's been a few times when they've wiped out a lot of people with their sicknesses, and, you know, but I believe that the sicknesses are created. And, oh yeah, and there is like these introductions, I think also, of, ones that they watch how it spins. Yeah, I kind of think like the Tylenol scare, like that was a whole thing. Like people who are nowadays don't even realize, like you used to go in and you'd buy something right off the shelf. It just came in a bottle. Didn't have all this safety this, safety that, put it in a box. But then what do? Think about it. Like in September, you know, the day that changed a lot of things in our security, that they had that happen before. We've had those incidences happen where then they have to come to our rescue for our safety. And then just so happens, there happens to be people who, you know, are invested into little containers and little things you have to put on them to make them safe, and all the boxing, all the plastic, all that stuff. So those people, suddenly, you know, this strange investment that you have suddenly blows the fuck up and you're a billionaire. So so anyways, I find that to be kind of interesting when we're all having it and they provide certain ones, and that, and, you know, we're at war with them for our lives. It's like they're battling to take them and we're battling just to keep them. And but a certain thing, too, that I wanted to say about it is because of how our body reacts to things, to involuntary things that we consume. And so that it initiates a process inside of our body to reject it and push it back out of us, when it isn't in alignment with us. And that is what we call an allergic reaction. So something goes in, and then it creates this process that begins where your body's trying to eliminate the invader, the invasive thing that has come into you, in order for it to push it back out. And so it triggers these like histamine into your blood. So these certain blood cells come to the rescue when there's something that's trying to come and invade you. And so those rescuers come in to battle. You know, your body has a natural process all the time. It knows what to do. And so it goes into a natural battle zone in order to try and get the infiltrate out of you. And so that's the process of the reaction your body has. The runny nose is trying to get it out, your eyes watering, you're coughing or sneezing or whatever. That's your body is trying to discard what is there. And so that's a natural reaction to things that aren't in alignment with you. And so when you think about different things that, you know, they could possibly be spraying on anything, like in air, food, water, any of that stuff, that anything that doesn't in alignment with your body, then your body is going to have that reaction. And so, but it does, like I said, seem to be more extreme reaction than the typical allergic reaction that a lot of people have. And so, which seems to be like something added on to, like, I have no idea. I can just tell you how how your body reacts. But so for instance, like if you put, a bunch of toxic stuff out someplace, and then okay, so like say you put like you had some toxic stuff and you put it out to get it away, and then that started building into it another, in order for it to build up in bacteria and stuff, it would have to be like an organic to build, but they came up with other kind of technologies in order to create. I wonder if that's what a VIRUS is, just a creation of something, and they haven't figured out how to make it last longing, but they have on some cases. Because I would probably say C. diff and stuff. Like, I think that there's some stuff that they made that it does do you in. And then a lot has to do depending on your immune system. Like, what does your system do? But that's why, you do long term of keeping people sickly, then their body can't fight all this different stuff. And so our bodies are wrung out dry. They're wore the fuck out, man. And so many people don't even realize, like, that they're not taking care of themselves. It's so trippy because I just see people doing videos all the time, just eating McDonald's and stuff like that. And it keeps having gross stuff in it, too. And more information coming out. But it's not healthy. And so it is, a lot of people don't eat healthy at all. And so their body is like, always in depletion. Their glass is always, just a little bit left inside, not a lot. So sicknesses can come in. And I focus so much on my health. And when it comes in and kicks my ass so hard, it's like, what in the world am I battling, man? This is insane. And but they figured out things about how to multiply the reactions by hitting with a bunch of different things. And so, the but anyways, I was gonna say, because how my brother's perception is, it's trees and pollen and all this stuff, and he had gotten so sick when he was here, and when he went to the hospital, which he thought he was dying, which I swear to God, I thought I was dying, and then I keep hearing all these people sitting there saying, like, I thought I was dying. It was rough, this whatever, and so then but he's the one who was like, you gotta take the Benadryl. And when he had gone to the hospital, because he argued with them, he said, it was like, no way is this allergies. And they told him, yeah, everything's coming back negative. So, and see, then that's another thing too, is get these stupid fucking tests and then get people to rely on these tests. Listen to your body. You don't need a test to tell you what you got. You gotta just pay attention to what you got going on. And then think of how to battle it, how to conquer it. And you don't want to just use their formulas, because those will stop the body from being able to discard whatever it is. So you dry up, turn all that stuff into in your face, and then you're not getting rid of it. And which kind of, because I don't know what the difference with the mucinous and the Benadryl, but the thing is one is an antihistamine, so I don't know. Because that would still be fighting your natural process, but it could be, because it definitely has made me feel better, but I still have this stuff going. So if it is like there's a whole bunch of histamine, and then it's fighting with that to try and make there be less. I don't know, because like I know, like if you have diarrhea, say, you shouldn't be going and just getting Imodium or something, stopping it, because your body's trying to get rid of something and you're trying to stop it. So you don't want to just interfere with what your body's trying to do all the time. And then I know, they push for all these allergy medicines and this Mucinex and all this stuff. But that's where, you gotta be careful, because it is your body's trying to get rid of something too. So your body's doing a natural way of trying to, move forward with whatever is causing the problem. So you gotta be careful. And usually I don't take any of the stuff because of that belief. And then when he was saying, and I swear to God, I was like, I feel like I was on my deathbed anyways, and I felt like there was so much, it was just like, what? Like, it was like I was under a pool, and it was intense. And so, so then I did take the Benadryl, and I've taken it, several times now. And definitely, especially when I'm hearing these people saying, it's lasting weeks. And even in like week 2, where you think you're getting better, so it circles back and starts over again. And so, so I don't know, because this is like, I think, day 5 for me. And I still am sneezing and coughing and tons of snot and stuff. But the pressure and not having so much of the water in my face or whatever it is that made me feel like I was underwater, and there's not as much pressure in my ears and in my teeth. And I still am having a headache and stuff. My eyes are still bothering me, so I know there's still a lot of pressure. And plus, I'm just blowing the shit out of my nose. Like, it's so crazy when you've got like a sickness. It's like, what the? There's so much snot. God damn, it just keeps coming and coming and coming. And so, but that also shows like your body's like really trying to get rid of something. So, anyways, but it's up to you what you decide to take if your sickness comes and hits you. But when I'm having a positive thing happen from that, then it does make me think, see, there's something it has something to do with some kind of spirit. It's not just a sickness. It's like a double whammy or something. It's like they doubled up on us. I don't know. I just heard somebody talking about this. They were telling somebody else's prophetic dream. And, and hold on. And in this prophetic dream, they're religious. And I didn't listen to the whole breakdown. But they were seeing people were like zombies. And they were sick with something. Something got them sick. And everybody was really out of it. And a lot of people were losing their voices and stuff. And so, and that just keeps coming and coming and coming, man, with this stuff. So, I'm sure that, we're battling that kind of situation. So anyways, we just got to keep going. Like, this is day 5 to me. We'll see what's going on for the next week or two. We'll see what the pattern follows, but I'm going to keep, I may just keep taking it until I run out and see. I took some again this morning, and it definitely doesn't stop me from having to blow my nose. I felt like yesterday for a while it was pretty dry in there, but I have to constantly blow it and blow it and blow it. But last night I actually could lay down and sleep, because that was one thing too with the pressure and the water and stuff that I was having such a hard time sleeping. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday, when I had stayed up, I stayed up until it's like 4 in the morning or something. I could not sleep, which was so crazy because I was so tired all day and I got such little sleep the night before. So then I was thinking, man, what kind of superhero shit is going on here? Like, fuck, I don't need sleep anymore. I'll just go. And so then I do have, I'm one of those things, like there's certain things that I take that have the opposite reaction. And that they had a label about that is something with attention deficit people, but there's more to it than that, because they come up with these labels and stuff. But a lot of us have the opposite reaction to some of this stuff, which is kind of weird, because I could take one of those things, take a 25 milligram, and then could go to sleep. 50, no. And so, but last night I had taken some, and I think I took it early in the day. I didn't take it right before I went to bed. But the other day I was like, fuck, I gotta take it, because as soon as I lay down, there's so much that fills into my face. And so, because I guess when I'm up, it's draining down, and when I'm laying down, it's just like, and then I couldn't sleep, and so then I kept thinking, well, it's got to be this Benadryl. It's got to be why I can't sleep. And then but it was so loud, and I couldn't control I couldn't quiet my mind. I couldn't gather my thoughts to themselves. It was like racket, and a lot of noise. There's a lot of dark energy out there too that just like, I don't know, it's like a flashboard of just saying bullshit. So man, it can be so noisy. But anyways, but last night, I don't know when I went to bed, everything is just running. And I mean, I feel like I'm in like I'm losing. So I keep saying like whatever day it is and stuff. And the reason I say the time is so when you are watching it and like when I'm talking about things like, well, this is what was going on at this time and this, like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say what time it is. So, because if I tape today and then it's like, well, why didn't she talk about this? Well, it hadn't happened yet. And so, anyways, but that's why I say the time. And I just like, I don't know, I'm trying to keep it straight for myself. I used to not say the date and time all the time. And it just, it has become like such a mesh. Everything is just meshed into, it's weird. And so I can't keep straight over time and day, and everything's weird. So I don't know when I went to bed last night, but I was totally conked out. I was having the weirdest fucking dreams too. God damn. And then Stella woke me up, and which brought me up weird dream. Wish I could remember them all. It was so fucking weird. And but I feel like, geez, I got a lot of sleep. I do want to go back to sleep. I just want to keep sleeping. And then they're sleeping, and they take over all my fucking space. They're all comfortable. Like, that can be their bed. I need my own bed. I need my own fucking bedroom. And they all have to be on me all the time. It's so crazy. Yesterday I got so fucking pissed. I was like ranting, raving, slamming the door. I was so fucking pissed. And which that turkey thing, I was stressed out about it, and it was real easy. Like, I had gotten some new knives because there was this good deal on this knife, and I hadn't had any knives in a long time. And the knife I do have is like a hand-me-down knife, and it's dull as can be because I don't like sharp knives. But I was like, when I was going to cut that thing up, I was thinking, man, I have some knives. I've never even used them yet. They got to be sharp as shit. And so they were, and I used them, and I cut off a wing. I cut off both the wings and then both the legs and some of the thigh part. So it was, I baked the two big wings together, which had some breast on it too. So I cut those off and baked those in a casserole dish, like in the mini oven, and like for an hour. They came out so perfect. And then I did the same thing with the thigh, the legs that had some of the thigh things. So I cooked them like that. Then I took all of the inside stuff that they put for the gravy and stuff, and I put that in a different bowl and was a little pan, and it was boiling that for a long time. And then I took the rest of the carcass thing, and it fit right into my Instapot. And I've got a ton of broth, and so a whole big thing of all that meat that I haven't even taken off the bone yet. All the rest I've already got off the bone. They've already eaten a ton of it. I made them some turkey soup. Oh my God, they've been going crazy for it. And so it had turkey and noodles and all that. So I used the one that had the organs, because dogs are supposedly supposed to have a lot of organ meat. So I used that one with the organs, and I added in some meat off of the what was it that I added that meat off of? Because the wings, must have been the wings. Because the thighs and the big leg things, I think I pulled all that off and put it in a bag. Because I have a whole bag of meat in the refrigerator for them. Then I have still the Instapot whole thing that I do for them. And then, but with the little pot of soup stuff. So I took all of must have been the wings, and I made that, and then I had spaghetti noodles and vegetables and stuff. They've finished that whole pot, but they really, really loved that, boy. Now I've got a bunch of meat in the thing torn up already, and then I have this whole big other thing of soup and broth and stuff. So I'm going to pour the broth into a thing so I can use more of the broth on some of their other things. And then the chicken, I'll make them another soup, the chicken or turkey soup, which I was thinking, man, I should buy turkey more often, man. This is really going far. And then I'm going to make them some more, and then I have some of that other meat that I can add into their food. So anyways, but I don't like the idea of animals being killed for us or any, like, I don't know, it's one of those kind of riding the thing back and forth. Like, I want them to eat this, but I don't want to be a part of the murder out there and the bad treatment of animals. And so anyways, I don't know, it's, rough. We all got to figure out our own things. But anyways, I was stressing out about how I was going to do that turkey, and it was great. I was like, man, I would do exactly like this again. This turned out perfect. And it was easy to cut up. It wasn't hard. But then I had those brand new knives. I'd never even used it before. So, anyways, so today's Tuesday. I think I'll probably, I don't know, because I'm not going to just make it just like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, I got to eat it on that day. I've already, I don't know, I may start cooking the stuff tomorrow and eat leftovers on Thursday or whatever, but not going to make it all. It has to be on this day because it's that day. It's like that's just one of their created obstacles in our formula of fucking lifestyles that have been created for us, all programmed into us. And so break the program a little bit. I may eat it tomorrow. I may make that stuffing today. I gotta see how I'm feeling. But, you know, I may make some stuffing, mashed potatoes. I've got my yams and my green beans. And so, because that is programmed hard. That's a hard program. It's like, it's November. It's time to eat that stuff. So, anyway, and my turkey stuff did look so good. It was like, oh, I do take a little piece of that skin, but I didn't. Because I used to really like that chicken and turkey skin, like when it gets cooked and it's all crispy. And then when I was a kid, you know, I didn't want to ever eat steak. We would eat there was always steak and stuff, and it grossed me the fuck out. But I did like the fat. I really liked the fat when it was all grilled and stuff. So I don't know. Anyways, so I don't know. I may cook that stuff, and what was that? It seemed like there was something else I was gonna be saying about. Oh, because when they pissed me off, so I'm in there doing all this work, making them all this great food, and making them this great soup, and I've been sitting in this chair, watching this movie. Oh yeah, that movie I want to talk about. And then, and I was working on some alterations. So I was making some changes in some clothes. So I was working on that. I had my seam ripper, which I really liked my seam ripper. And so I'd get up to go and do something with their food, come back. One of these motherfuckers had gotten my seam ripper and had chewed it up. I was so fucking pissed. Because this is the kind of shit that goes on all the fucking time. I was so pissed. I was fucking yelling at them. And I was like, oh, damn. I'm sure to them, like, I'm baring my teeth. I was baring my teeth. I was growling. I was all of the things that I think that they recognize and, you know, the language that they understand. And I slammed the door. And they're all just sitting there like, I was like, I knew it was one of you motherfuckers. I knew it wasn't Stella. Stella doesn't go and get my stuff and chew it up. And they fucking, and I don't know out of the three of them which one it was, but I was fucking pissed. And then especially, like, I just felt, like, used. Like, I'm in here working hard for you guys, and this is how I'm treated back. I was fucking pissed. So, anyways, that was just my rant. It's like I snap on, snap off. Well, I was like, God damn it. So, anyways, I lost my shit on that one. But, oh, yeah, but this movie. So this movie was called 99 Houses, I think. And I didn't know what it was going to be about. And it ended up, it was about the housing crisis back in 2008. And that was, it started like then, but I lost mine in 2009. And I was trying to, when I got my brain injury, you know, when they made me lose my job, and for how much I was making was a big difference, especially because I was a workaholic and I worked a lot. And so I would go to more than one job. So I would go to my regular job, and then I would go do travel nursing too. And so I would go to hospitals when they needed other, and I went to a lot of rural hospitals and stuff. And so then, so I was working all the time. And so my money thing was much different, you know, when you're out spending your money and, you know, getting your loans up to the point of what you can afford at that time. And then all of a sudden it's just, so I was trying to get Chase to redo my loan thing so I could reduce my payment. And they said no, but this was during the whole housing crisis thing. But I didn't really realize that all these tons and tons of people were losing their houses. And one of the parts I know is that because then they started inflating the value of homes, and then they started giving out loans on the value, so you could go get a homeowner's loan or and it was all off of your interest. So it wasn't off of stuff you pay, or all off of your how much your house was worth, how much they were saying, like you bought it for like 125, but now all of a sudden they're saying it's worth 300. So they'll give you a loan for that gap. And so many people, I had done it too. So many people had gone and gotten that loan so that they could make improvements on their house and bring their houses up and stuff like that. So many people, and other people used it for all different, I mean, you could use it for whatever. You could buy a new car, you could go on a trip, whatever. But everybody was going and getting their, those loans. And then all of a sudden that crashed and there was no value. And then people were losing their jobs and stuff. And then people weren't able to make these big payments. And the bank was like, tough luck, buddy. It's our house now. And so it was showing about, it was showing it from different kind of perspectives. I thought it was really good because it starts with this guy and it's showing him and he's going to work. And his and he is a construction guy. And while they're working on the house, because this was such an intricate pattern, how they created this. And I don't even know, I don't think I can just say the whole thing, but you know, it had so much to do with these developers, these city count, like it was so big of a thing. And it was all of this way for them to make more money. You know, I don't know, you can just see it so clearly. I mean, this isn't the first show I've seen about this. And plus, you know, I experienced it. I mean, I went to the Capitol and was talking to senators trying to tell them. And then I didn't, at the time, I didn't know that, oh, this is happening because they're doing this on purpose. And so, you know, I thought, oh, this is happening. They'll step in for us. No, they don't give a fuck. They're fucking part of the fucking, I'll scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine situation. So this guy, he's working on this construction site, and whatever goes down on this thing, all of a sudden the the developer has got no money, can't complete it. And as a matter of fact, I can't pay you for the work you've already done. So the contractor guy is coming in, he's stopping all his workers. Go home. We're stopping. We're not doing another motherfucking thing. Get the fuck out of here. And they're not even paying us any money. And, you know, he's all pissed. So they got one of the workers, so it's from his perspective, one of these workers. And so he's fucked. And he's stressed the fuck out. So then he's going to the courts because he's already behind on this house. And he lives in his mom's house. So I don't know if her husband died or they got divorced or whatever, but the son was living there with his kid. And then the mom's not around of his kid. So I don't know how it ends up in this family dynamic. That's the mom. So the grandma, the one son, and his kid. And she's a hairdresser who works out of her house. And so and this construction guy is not having stable income. So they're behind in their payments, and they're trying to fight and go into court and stuff, trying to fight the banks that are saying, well, you're behind and we're taking your house. And so they were in court, which is, the courts were full of all these people that this was happening to. And the judge didn't give a fuck. Judge didn't give a fuck about there's nobody been in this system. And they gave a shit about what we were going through. You know, there was no empathy or compassion. They had lost that a long time ago when the corporation came in and took over the fucking world. And so so then after they say, you know, tough luck, you know, there's nothing. And he goes, you can appeal it, and that takes 30 days or something. Well, they came and knocking at their door the next day and told them they need to get out. And so they're at the door arguing, telling them to leave. No, you can't be here and stuff. The cops, just like that one cop that came to my house just in last January. And when I said, well, what if I don't go? He said, they'll forcibly remove you. And, but I had 5 days. These people have 5 minutes. But there's some kind of notice or something put on their house. And I don't remember. I think the only notice that I had taped on mine at one point was that they were going to court. And so, and I didn't go up to court. It was like, for me, I had to like cut ties with the system emotionally, physically, and put it in the hands of the universe. Whatever happens, happens, and leave it in that. And I'm not going to go in and play their games. I'm not going to go in and fight them, and they're not going to drain me of all my energy. I'm just going to trust that whatever's meant to happen is going to happen. It's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. And I had to stand in my own truth of not participating in paying criminals in order for them not to. It's like paying when the criminals come around to the businesses. Well, you got to give us insurance, otherwise we're going to tear you up. It's like, you got to pay us not to fuck you up. It's like, this is what they're doing to us. And so I was like, I can't, in all my moral standing and with good state of consciousness, participate in this, especially when you know what some of these people with all the money do. It's like, I can't participate in this. I can't fucking just play along like I'm clueless and just do this just because I'm supposed to. It's like, again, I got to leave it up to the universe. I'm going to stand in my truth, stand in my belief system, and whatever happens is going to happen, and then let it go and not get myself all caught up in the frenzy of this world and the games that they play in order to drain us and take from us. So that's why, my mission was about when I was just like, stop paying them, and it's like, fuck it. And I was there for years without paying. But then, so I don't know on this, because it was, they were just, it was this huge, just taking people's houses, just right and left. And so who comes out, and this is where it gets like kind of complicated. So they have these certain eviction cops. I mean, I guess that's their duty, is just to go out and do evictions or something. And then they bring a crew. So a crew of people that come in and remove your stuff from the house and put it in the front yard. And I've seen tons of videos of this. And this is another thing that really pissed me off when I was going through it. Why I was standing up to the whole thing is because I would see these videos that they were doing this to people. And they were just going in, like some 85-year-old lady, because she didn't pay her taxes because their fucking income is so shit, and she's already eating goddamn cat food or something. And then, she's barely making it. All her money goes to her meds and shit. And then they coming in and taking her fucking house that she's fucking lived in her whole motherfucking... I just was fuming over that shit, man. And it just throwing these people's shit out into the streets and stuff. I was like, this is some fucking fuckery, man. And so I was like, fuck them. I'm not fucking paying. I'm not fucking financing this fucking hellhole bullshit. And so, so we know, what happened with me. And so in the movie though, so the guy, so you have he's a realtor or something. And then you have the eviction cops, then you have the crew to remove your stuff. So they come, and the one business suit guy, he says he represents the banks. He is whoever from this real estate company. It's his own real estate company. And he's there to like confiscate the bank stuff. So it's not the bank isn't sending somebody out. It's like, it's kind of like how I perceive it is, like when you have a loan and then all of a sudden you're notified, well, somebody else bought your loan. And not only that, they sell them in lumps. So they just take a whole big lump. And this is a part of something with their laundry system. It's a part of something with the fluctuations with the, because a lot of the investments, because a lot of people don't realize like what you're invested into. When you're invested into other people's retirement, you're invested into other people's home and stuff like that. So it is this weird way that they do it. And so you have a whole, a stack of loans, and then so you sell them to some other shell company, and then This is this whole fucking scheme going. So it's not a banker who's coming out and saying, hey, you're in our house, you just go. It is somebody who, to me, seemed that they are buying these foreclosure loans. So that's like bailing the banks out, saying like, well, you've got all these houses that are going to foreclose, and we will give you, say you have 44 houses that are, this bank has 44 houses that are about to foreclose, and they're about to lose, I don't know, if you have 44 houses and say that they're 300,000 each or something. And so, all these loans, they owe this much money. And then the realtor or whoever, whatever this role is of this person, is so they come in and they're like, okay, well, we'll buy all that. We'll buy that whole stack and we'll give you a low ball figure. So we'll take it and we'll give you 100, I don't know, not 100 million, not 100,000. So let's say we'll give you 1.5 million for, no, because, okay, 1.5 million maybe. So we'll get, whatever it is, it sounds like it's a buyout, a sellout kind of situation. So we'll bail you out. We'll give you this chunk of change for all those dead loans. And then they go out and they start removing the people because they're going to flip the houses. And so I've said, for how many motherfucking years have I fucking said that this whole thing with the realtors and stuff is shady as fuck? And I've been saying it and saying it and saying it. And that isn't to say every fucking, one thing is nothing is every single one of them. It's something, well, no, I know a good one. I know a nice cop. I know a nice, it's like, you see, I don't like every single fucking one. It's like it's not every single, JEW is a fucking bad person, but bad people are fucking definitely from that group. So, it's the same thing. It's like, I'm not saying every fucking realtor's a bad person, but they've got their fucking entry. They've got their fucking door in the foot, or their foot in the door when this profession. And so they, then they go in and remove these people. So they're going in and taking these houses from these people and saying that they're working for the bank, not as a bank official, but they're doing the bank's work for them. Until then they go out and start kicking all these people out of their houses and kicking them to the curb and using the legal system, the judicial, to give them the tools, the elevation, giving them the support, like the judicial supporting what they're doing. And instead of being on our side, they are like supporting them. Because one thing is that in this world, the people who have the less integrity have the most wiggle room. Like the the corporation is definitely on the side of anti-niceness, anti-human, anti-being a good person, anti-giving people, a fair shake. So so then they come in and then they kick the people to the curb, and they will give you they'll give you a turnkey settlement. Like they'll give you $3,500, give them the key and get the fuck out. And so, and now some people do that. I did that when we moved into that house that was a rental and they sold it. No, it was when I was when I was getting divorced and I was still in his house. And then they gave me one of those settlements and said, here, we'll give you this much money and you go. And I took that deal. I was like, okay. So because it wasn't my house, it wasn't my fight. And so so I took that deal and took the turnkey thing and moved. And but so they come in, they buy all these places, and they go around, and then it even gets shadier than that, because there's also, it's such a common thing about insurance fraud. It's very common. And so they have one of those going too. So they'll go in and they'll insure under their plan these places that they are getting, and then, man, all this stuff just gets stolen. It just makes you even think like, all this copper, if because in this, they're hiring people to go do it. And then they're keeping the stuff, like, go steal the a common air conditioner unit and something else. The furnace, there's some of these things. So, yeah. So they're doing it themselves and then making a claim on it. It's just like, they're so fucking shady, man. And and this guy is rich as fuck. He's gotten rich as fuck off of doing this. And so the kid whose story is centered around, they had to take what they could in their car and I guess just leave the rest out in the yard. And they went and got a hotel room. And this hotel is just full of all homeless people. And so they're living in this hotel now. And he was getting some out of his toolbox and he saw that it was missing. He's like, those are the fucking people who come in and move all your stuff. They stole his fucking tools. He was pissed. So he goes down to confront them. So he finds where this realtor's office is or something, goes down and starts confronting these guys. And it starts this big fight. And so, anyways, it ends up that, what's his name? It's not Molly Shannon. It's the guy, Shannon. I can't think of his name, but he's the rich guy, and he, I don't know, something with this kid. Because they all have to hurry and go to one of these houses because he comes down, he just got a call, and one of these houses that he's bought now and removed the people the people had, it's so funny too, because this is what I made a threat to Chase, and people were doing it back in the 2008 through the 2010 fiasco. People were burning it down. There was all sorts of fires. There was all sorts of houses getting burned down. When I was arguing with Chase at the time, I said, I'll fucking burn that shit down. They took that serious. Like, they fucking didn't fuck around with that. And because it was going on. And so in this case, though, they had done something to back up the drain. And then the whole sewage system, I don't know, I guess the whole neighborhood sewage system came back up inside these people's house. So it was full of sewage in the house. And so he was trying to get it, and it smelled really bad, and he was trying to get his crew to go in and clean it up, and they were being resistant. Well, this kid who just lost his house, he's standing there, and so he says, I'll do it. Give me a couple $100. I'll go to clean it up. And so he did, and then he set up a team to go in and help him. And so he, because of his ability to, jump in and do this stuff, then the guy gave him a job. So now he's working for the guy who took his house. And, but he's doing it on the sly. He doesn't want his mom to fucking know. And he is, at first, just being a part of the construction and stuff. And then he is, part of the going and getting those, the air conditioners and stuff like that. And he's always getting a cut. So he's getting all of this serious money, which is making him lose his integrity. But he's trying to keep it a secret on the down low. He doesn't want his mom to know, So he's doing all of this stuff. And everything starts falling apart, because you can't live a lie. And he is getting more caught up in the money thing. And then he starts becoming one of the people who's going and kicking him out of the place. But it's affecting him more. And he's having a really hard time because he has the compassion and empathy because he's just gone through it. And that, is a big part of like the reincarnation cycle. You go through things, you have compassion and empathy for others, and you're not hateful and judgmental and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that the premise to me behind the reincarnation is, because when you go through something, then you look at it in a different way. And so this, but the guy who's the real rich guy, he had a whole situation, which was an insurance thing, which is why he didn't give a fuck about the insurance companies, was because something that happened with his dad. And it was something with his dad's health. And then the insurance company canceled him. And so he was seeing all through this perspective. You can't let these people fuck you. You got to fucking do what it takes to fucking survive in this world. So, he was able to give up his integrity out of the fear of having whatever happened to his dad was going to happen to him. And he wasn't going to let that shit happen. And so he was a stomp on your fucking face to get over to the other side of the road kind of guy. And, but he didn't give a fuck about that insurance shit because those people had fucked his family, so he can fuck them. And this is so common. This stuff. And so then the guy, everything starts falling apart for the kid, and it all, and his mom finds out because somebody who moves into the hotel sees him because he hasn't, because one of the big pulls too was that the guy who got his house, he wanted to buy it back from the guy, and he was going to work for the guy, and the guy was going to carry the loan for him. And so he wanted his house back, but he's still living in the hotel. Well, somebody who he had gone and kicked them out of their house, they moved into the same hotel. And so that's how he got exposed. And it wasn't pretty. And his mom was like, so just shame. And she could not believe you would work for that guy who took our fucking house. And he's like, I'm trying to get our house back. Well, then he gets all caught up in how much money he's making, because then there's some other fucking shady thing, because there's another guy doing it and they want to undercut them and get their houses too. And that's going to be a $2 million deal or something. It was like, it's so fucking shady out there with these contractors, developers, realtors, these LLCs and stuff. It's fucking shady as fuck, man. And these city councils and these judges are just like on their side. It's like, because the corporate law is different than the constitutional. The constitutional is there to protect us. The corporation is there to protect them. And so then, but he gets all caught up in the money thing. And then he wants to buy this big, beautiful house. It was huge with pool. It was a fancy ass house, because there was all sorts of, there wasn't just, because there was all sorts of jobs that were being closed. There was a lot of mid-management that were losing their jobs. They were cutting people's jobs out. There was people who have been working in places 25 years during this whole crisis this time. And that there was huge layoffs. So tons of people were losing their money after they had just gotten these certain loans. Everything's going smooth, and then all of a sudden it's bam, crash, and everybody's losing it. So it wasn't just poor people were losing their houses. There was rich people losing their houses too. One of the houses I remember where we were all like, oh fuck no, these people burnt that shit down, was that big fucking mansion that was on the Post Falls, Idaho, on the river. And it was like, no way. Those people fucking torched that bitch. Like, you want my fucking house? Boom. Like, fuck off. So, but anyways, this was this big, beautiful house, and he's like all caught up in it. He wants to buy it. And so then he brings his mom and his son over to see it. And the mom was like, no fucking way am I living in this shit. Fuck off. I want my own house, and I'm not living. I can't even believe you're working for this fucking guy. She's fucking pissed. She's like, I'm leaving. I'm going to my brother's. It's like, that's a familiar story. And I'm going to my brother's, and we'll live out there. He said, well, we could stay on his place, and that's what we're going to do. We're not going to fucking do this. So she took his kid. She took off. Like, fuck off, dude. You want to live in that fucking... what is that dirty money house? You take that. So Laura Dern was the mom too, and so she takes off and takes the kid and stuff. And then this whole other weird thing, like, it was getting shadier and shadier, because they were when papers weren't filed, and they were going in, and court people were letting them file when they weren't supposed, like, It was a whole fucking thing. And it shows all of this stuff. And you know, this is the shit that was going down. And so, then, you know, it all kind of blows up and stuff and it's over with. But but it was just like, oh my God. I saw things that were so, it was like clarity watching that movie. There was more clarity to the whole situation. And it's just something that they do. These people who have such a lack of integrity, who are, who feed off of this system, which I thought it was kind of good too, to show how he was, you know, he was like, fuck, you got to make it in this world, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But it made him heartless, you know, because really, you know, what we need to do, because how that turned out, it got worse, you know, and now we're where we are, and so many more people are homeless, so many more businesses closing and stuff like that, which was all done on purpose and stuff. And because even when they locked it down, it was like you couldn't go in small businesses and stuff, but Walmart was open. Strip clubs were open. You couldn't, there was, which I just saw a video. Some of these girls just talk so openly about, you know, I'm a prostitute. I just watched this whole video. This girl's like, she's in Ireland for a concert, so she had to hook up a couple of appointments there to help pay for her trip or whatever. May as well use her time wisely. And her whole video is talking about what she's going to do because she's on her period. And she's just like, yeah, they're kind of a short appointments. Each one is 2 hours. And I was like, God, what in the world with our world has come to? Like, oh my God. I lived at a time when, you know, a woman who was doing that was like, she wouldn't want anybody to know what the fuck she was doing. It was like a secret down low. Now these girls are just like, yeah, that's what I do. That's how I make my money. What about it? It's like, I don't even know at this point. I don't even know. It's like, our world, it just is like we've been going in the wrong direction for quite some time. In my, you know, how I look at it, it's like, I think that, I don't know, I think you probably have more guys. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't want to be judgmental. It's like, do what you gotta do. I don't know. But that was making me think of something else. I know Donald now is, he is telling the corporation they can't outsource anymore. So they are not allowed to, you know, how we call, you know, you call a call center and everybody's in fucking Pakistan and India and shit. Then can't do that anymore. Everything has to be here. But all the outsourcing and stuff also is what, you know, made a lot of people lose their jobs. And we have such a job crisis here, and people are losing their homes and nobody can make it and stuff. And then plus the inflation that they've created. So anyways, it's multi-faceted situation that we got going. It's all got to blow up and blow down. In the, but the, let's see, I went off from what I was saying because I went off on the prostitution angle. Like, I was just like, what? I don't know. Like, you just, you know, from the guy's perspective, going and paying this person, and she is, you know, well paid, or you know, an active participator. Like, she is, you know, that's how she's making her money, and she's, you know, doing as many as she can a day or whatever it is. And so you don't really know her status, her sickness status, and how often is she checking that or whatever. Like, do you go up and say, can I see your papers? When's the last time you were checked? We do have an epidemic. So but for all that blood in the cavity, yeah, yeah, you better hope you don't get any abrasions. So better lube it up, bitch. So I don't know. It's just like, what? This world is just like, it's not funny really, but you gotta laugh. It's so ridiculous. It's like, it's just ridiculous. So here's my girl. Let me think what I was going to say. She's got these little chunky things I try and get off of. I think it's her all her drool and stuff. She's in Miss Drooly Pants. So the world of corruption that we exist in, it's your choice if you're gonna have integrity or none. It's always best to me if you follow your integrity, because your integrity is coming from your soul, and your soul is going to be more pleased when you are, going in that direction than when you're fighting it to survive and not trusting that everything's going to be okay. You don't have to, screw people over. And, anyways, but whatever with all that. But the movie is on YouTube if you want to watch it, because I thought it was that, I did have some things where like, oh, that's interesting. Because I did think it was like how the banks were coming to take. No, these guys are buying these bulk things, and then they're going and kicking people out. And so, and that too, because they do those auctions and stuff too. But no, this is going, they're buying whole stacks. Like I'm buying 100 houses that are in foreclosure. So all these loans that are in the red that they haven't been paying, I'm going to buy all those loans from these banks, and then I'll take care of it. I'll go out there. And so anyways, but the good news is that on December 2nd, that the Rand, the Iraq, so it starts with an I, that they have their currency is dinar. And back in 2020, Charlie was even talking about this, and I've heard it a bunch of times, that people who talk about the Nisar, that they say there's a big thing about the dinar. And so as of the 2nd, just so what, a week or so out, because it's next week. So next week is December. Maybe this weekend, because I was trying to think. The 3rd. Okay, so the 3rd is Wednesday. So Tuesday. So a week from now. Is that they are, but they could be on a different time thing. I wonder what year it is there. It's so weird about this year thing. But they are changing their stuff, and they're gonna, I don't know, they're changing their stuff. The dinar is gonna change, and in our currency will no longer have value. I thought that had happened already, but apparently December 2nd is when it's happening. And so that will definitely be, I don't know, I would think that would be, finally when ours would really crash, like we would really, see the crash and burn, which I just saw a video this morning of a fucking pileup on the freeway of black ice. Oh my God. It was horrifying. Oh my God. And what in the world? Like, people out there going like 60 miles an hour on ice? Like, fuck. Like, if you've never driven on ice, like, just stay off the fucking roads. Just don't even. Speed up and just go and be going. You can't stop. You can't stop, and when you put your foot on the brakes, you just start sliding. And if you start sliding on ice, you don't push more on the brakes. You take your foot off the brake, and it will straighten back out. But yeah, it was fucked, man. It looked like these people were just flying, and then I don't know. The first crash happens, and then they're all trying to stop, and nobody can stop. But some of those cars, they like slam into one, then one comes and slams into them from this way, then another one slams in. There was a couple cars where I was like, no way, because oh my God, the driver has to be good. Oh my God, you talk about needing the jaws of life to get some of these people out. Oh my God. And it was several giant trucks, and a whole tons and tons of, and a lot of those SUVs, they probably had 4-wheel drive. These people probably were all like all cocky thinking, yeah, I got no problems. ICE is a whole nother fucking, that's a whole nother fucking deal. And so anyways, it's fucking dangerous. It's best to just stay the fuck off the road and then look at, even if you think like, oh, well, I'm an expert ICE driver, I can do it, and I got to get to work. And well, I guess these people are gonna find out they got to get to the hospital. So it was a fucking mess, man. I felt really like, oh my god, this is horrible. I can't believe how many times some of those cars got hit. And just, God, can you imagine? You just are, you're sliding in and you're slamming into them, and then you turn and it's like, boom, boom. It's like, fuck. God. Oh my God, intense. It's like, there has to be some people who didn't make it out of that. That was gruesome. And then it's again like, how fast are you guys going, man? Excuse me, ma'am. How fast are you guys going? Fuck. And definitely, though, if you are on ice, or you just even start sliding, if you don't even know you're on ice, and you start sliding, you take your foot off the brake. The brake puts you into the slide. So, I think, if you're coming up onto a pileup, maybe better to veer off towards towards something else. Veer off into the, well, you can't do it with your foot on the brake, because your foot on the brake is going to take you where the car will just start spinning. And so when you take your foot off the brake and you turn, you might be able to angle it. And I think in this case, it could have been that they were going, because another thing about bridges is that they get so cold that they can have ice. So you can be driving down the freeway, everything's cool, and then you come up to a bridge and it's fucking a sheet of ice. And then somebody starts sliding, and then they put the brakes on, and then they just start fucking spinning, and then the next guy spins, and so then they start spinning into each other, and then just boom, 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 boom. So when you're crossing a bridge, it's better to go slow, but when somebody starts spinning out in front of you, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like, and then you don't have because there's not really a place to go off on the side. So anyways, man, you just gotta, but, everybody's storyline, which I just heard this girl telling this one of, she got married, and she got pregnant, and she had a baby, and then her husband's best friend came over and took his forcibly on her, and she told her husband, and her husband believed the friend, and she was willing and wanted to, and so the husband got pissed, and the girl started going crazy, and she was having the postpartum, and so she was going crazy, so the husband got her locked up, and while she was locked up in the psych unit, he got divorced and took the kid, and she is still left with everybody thinking she's a bad person who was cheating on her husband right after she had a baby, and that all of these things happening. And I'm, say the same thing that I tell all people who have weird things going on like that. It's like, go get a past life regression. There's something more to your story. Believe you me, there's some lingering entanglements that you need to fucking deal with, because, yeah, for sure. So I would go get a past life regression, QHHT, BHQ, go in and look deeper into your situation, try and figure out what your entanglements are. Why is this because you can see, you can find things out. And so anyways, but besides them, that this, this big thing with this dinar and all of these different things happening, and Donald said he's going to put 20 trillion into our economy, and he's going to bring all these outsourced jobs back home. But a lot of them are still, a lot of things are going to go towards AI, which Kroger fired all of their delivery people and said, we're only delivering with AI now. There's going to be a lot of jobs that, are going to become AI, that's for sure. That's why it's best to build up on your skills, find something that you enjoy doing and work on doing that. And then, and become valuable at what it is, become, expertise in something that you find value in, and that would be a better way to go than just be like, well, I'm going to be a delivery driver. There's a lot of jobs that are going to be going to AI. And so because it's like a waste of our time. It's like, we don't need humans to do this. We can go out and enjoy our life. So, oh yeah, because the astrological. So there's an astrological, and then you've got more than one astrological, because they're all basing it on all these different things. I saw one, and she's like, she bases hers on the ancient thing. It's not tropical. It's not the, whatever, get it, the, all these different things. But it's supposed to be over this next week and into the first 2 weeks of December is an alignment that has happened that was in the revolution. It is the rebirth, is the ending and a beginning. And so, we can be, and there's like 3 volcanoes going right now at once. And another one could start today. Like the volcanoes are popping off. And so, and when the volcanoes pop off, it's going to pop off earthquakes and tsunamis and everything. So, it does feel so much like, we're rolling in. I've felt it so many times, but it's so weird because it just keeps building and building. But it definitely feels like that we could be rolling into the, the somersault's finally going to flip over. It's like, we keep on being like, oh, I can do it. I'm going to do a cartwheel. Wait, I'm going to do a cartwheel. Wait. And then finally I think, oh, something's going to flip us at some point. And so this could be our chance. This could be our opportunity. Everything is coming into alignment. Maybe this will be it for us. And we'll finally flip over and we'll get to the next part. And in the next part, it's going to be rough for some people, and it's going to be good for some people. It's going to be the next part. And it's not going to be like we're at the peak of, it's not going to be like all of a sudden we're in the age of Aquarius and we're all, it is going to be, it's going to be, okay, like if you think of, a snake shedding its skin, then this would be like when the last bit of the skin comes off. But it's just the new beginning. So it's just the new beginning for the new skin. It isn't going to be like everything is going to be just, roses and cupcakes and immediately. It's going to still be a lot of stuff going on. But there's going to be a kind of like a tournament, and you got one trophy, and you still have the big game ahead, but you have confidence going in, you're feeling good. You can see like, oh, good things are going to start happening, because there's so many people right now and just think, oh, it's the end of the world, it's the worst thing, the aliens are going to come down and eat us. Bitch, the aliens have been eating us a long time. I'll tell you that. So, and that's one thing. It's like, people have got to start finding out about this world, what's been going on here. So, anyways, but to me, it does seem like, we definitely could finally be to that point. But don't get all bummed out. Like, if there's still things going on in your life, and they're sucky things, just remember those things are to push certain things to the surface so that you can purge them out, because that's what you're really, it's not just about what's going on here, it's about what's going on in here. And what's going on in here is you're trying to purge out all of these past lives, this past history of yourself, this past version of yourself, and connecting into your higher state of mind, your higher version of self. And so you are letting go and closing gaps. You're filling in the holes. You're fixing yourself and fixing your relationships. You're fixing your perspective on yourself, your attitude. So there's a lot of things that you're working on. So, when things flip and you still got like this issue and that issue, it's not going to just make everybody's issues just pop up, go away. Is your issues are there for you to deal with, and you can't just be putting them aside. That's what we have, a huge group of people who are just putting all their issues aside because Jesus is coming. He's going to take care of it. I don't need to worry about that. Jesus is going to get it. It's like, well, that's, that's going to be holding you up then if you're waiting for the Savior to fix you. So it's, it's up to you. It's up to you to get out there and do the work on yourself, and to change your attitude and change your perspective, to grow your compassion, your empathy, and, to work on yourself. And then we do have the nonstop challenges on the mind, body, spirit, like tuning into your body and what your body needs when it's under a fucking attack every fucking day. So, we have everything out there that we need to be focusing on is right there for us. But I think a lot of people think like, oh, well, once this happens, everything's going to be peachy keen. You're going to have, your obstacles are there for you to figure out how to overcome them, because that's your growth. And so, just, don't get, I mean, I feel, super excited, like, to think like, oh, there would be a lot of things that will seem like getting access to med beds that's supposed to come really quick after the money thing. And, so I had gotten those wipes, for her stinky downstairs. And so thinking that, if it is urine, bacteria, or whatever. So I've been using those, and it's like, I don't know if that's really working much. And they're kind of expensive. I think they're like $18 for this little thing of them. And so, and she's big. I have to use a few. And, I mean, if you have a little tiny dog, it may last longer. But I think I'm going to buy them again, though. And but I had some yeast pills, dog yeast pills, because if dogs scratch a lot and stuff like that, then they can have yeast. And so I just ran across those. I was like, I think I'll put these in her food too, because what if it's like a yeast infection? What if that's the whole thing? And I swear to God, I really am thinking that there's a huge improvement. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get some more of those, because I just gave her the last 4 today. And so I think maybe I've gotten on the other side of that situation now. I'm hoping. But she's always got lots of, she gets these growths and stuff. I'm sure the battle for the big C is going on a lot of our animals, because they're doing everything they can to, destroy our lives and destroy our animals and our pets, our relationships. So, anyways, but I feel like, man, it's, I'm, knock on wood, I'm really hoping that this is, that we did get to the crux of the whole situation, and that's what it was, is like a yeast infection kind of thing. So, anyways, what time? Oh, I've been talking a long time. So, anyways, but whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen. It's got a certain time, everything's on its own time. And it has, everything is like, it has the perfect transit encounters. Everything happens exactly when it's supposed to happen. And so whenever and however this is going to go down, this is when it's going to go down. We need to, when we want to fret about it, when we want to freak out about it and stuff, we got to just keep remembering, to trust. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to happen exactly the way it's supposed to happen. And, in the universe is, the happenings are for us. Our happenings are for us so that we can work on ourselves. So, because that's the main thing of what's going on here is us. And that's why it's us against them, because they're trying to distract you from what's important. And what's important is you, and becoming your best version of yourself, becoming your truth, becoming who you really are meant to be, and not being held back by all of the nonsense and the bullshit. And it comes in such an insidious form, of things happening when you were a child, and you got to protect yourself from that. And you don't realize that you're losing all of your compassion and integrity and your empathy by becoming something that out of fear. And so it's important, bust through the fear, break it down, and get towards the trust. And that, I don't know, it just seems like it's the most important thing is, not getting too caught up in all the bullshit, and really just focusing on yourself. So Learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody else, and learning how to have the day you want to have seems like the smartest thing to do to me. So anyways, now it's Tuesday, the week's getting going. So I'm really curious to see what's next. So I'm sure there'll be stuff happening. Fucking Erica. Oh, Charlie wrote a book before he died. I've got that book. I'm about to publish it. Need to make some money. I'm with child now. And now it's supposedly she is 8 weeks pregnant. No, Charlie died 8 weeks ago, but she's 10 weeks pregnant or something. I don't know. The whole thing is just so strange. There's so much stuff going on. I mean, you got the Blues gonna go and take out Candace, and you know, it's just this whole thing. Such a big show. It's a big old show. That's what it is. And even when they go and they take people, I think they're just taking them to the Valhalla. If that's the place, the witness protection. So they're preparing them for to testify or something. So, anyways, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. And we'll see what this day brings us. And then we'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.